Okay, so I don't even know what. Oh, this I should be able to tell what week this is. This is our 5th week,
Yes.
and we watched District 9, which was
Mark's pick.
Mark's pick. Yeah, I was about to say
Yes.
Matthew's pick, but you picked Avatar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Mark, you picked it. Give us a quick synopsis. Give
Of
us a
the
quick
movie
run.
or-
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah, of the
movie.
film.
Yeah, of the
Oh,
film.
sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's about a man with I believe it's a German-ish name. I cannot remember honestly how to pronounce
Let's
it.
call him Vicus.
Yeah, Vicus. Yeah, and he is tasked with trying to relocate a bunch of aliens who have invaded Earth, but the thing is that these aliens didn't do anything when they came to Earth. They just their mothership just kind of hovered above the planet, and humans went up to check, and they found that the aliens were incredibly unhealthy, malnourished, can't do anything. So they decided to house them in this area in Johannesburg in Nigeria, I believe was the country.
Yes.
Yeah, South Africa.
It's in South Africa, correct? Yeah, there might have been like I don't know the specific country, but I remember someone mentioning that a group of people were Nigerians. Now it may not all be Nigerians, but
Johannesburg is a city in South Africa.
Okay,
So it
got
is
it.
in South Africa.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Vicus, you got the problem is that and this had happened like 20-ish years ago,
Right.
and over time, there's been like a bunch of like talks, of course. I mean, this and like what we should do with the aliens. Should we? I mean, people have talked about killing them all, talked about like trying to study them,
Mhm.
and all this kind of stuff. And so, after about 20-ish years, the Society of the MNU, which is like a international society of international like.
Well,
or, I'm sorry,
MNU is a corporation.
Right.
Yeah.
They're a corporation to try. Basically, they're tasked with moving the aliens from this District 9 area that they have them housed in into another area, so that they can be separated from humans and obviously the alien species that they're from.
Yeah,
that they are.
the humans are basically sick of the
Mhm.
aliens.
Yeah, dealing with the prawns.
That's pretty, the prawns, right?
Yeah.
Their name.
And so the plot, the main thing that happens in this entire story is Vicus accidentally becomes poisoned-ish by this alien object that he found in one of the slums in the district, and is slowly turning into an alien. And so his whole goal is to try to he wants himself fixed, and the only way to do that is he has to go on a crazy adventure with one of the aliens, one of the smarter aliens,
Christopher Johnson.
Christopher Johnson, correct?
Christopher Johnson.
And the only way for him to get healed is if Christopher got a hold of this alien object that Vicus lost to take.
Well, it was the stuff that was carrying the serum that got him.
Yeah.
It was like it was like an alien chemical.
It sprayed on his face, and he got like infected because.
But it's also like fuel for his ship or something.
Right. So so the whole thing is Vic is trying to basically get himself or the alien to the ship so that he can try and get cured.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Great synopsis.
Yes.
So, what'd you think, Mark?
Well, I loved it, and honestly, I'm not sure if I loved it more or less than the past couple of times.
When was the last time you'd all seen it?
Oh, that's a good.
I hadn't seen it. My first time.
Oh, this is your
nice.
first time. I didn't even know that. You may have mentioned that last time. I just forgot.
The last time I saw it, I think I remember I showed Chelsea for her first time, and that was the last time I had watched it. And this
movie's 12 years old.
Yeah, and I must have shown her this like about 2 years ago-ish. So it had been a while since I last seen it, but I had seen it multiple viewings before then, and so this is not my first time watching it, but I remember loving it, and I still love it even after watching it yesterday.
It came out the same year as Avatar, which is
I know,
Almost coincidence. 'Cause
well, it got me thinking because I was wondering because I think it made like obviously it made a good amount of money, but
no, yeah, it was a box office
and
success.
obviously like Avatar beat it out, of course, because you can look at the records.
I don't even.
Beat everything out.
They may have released at different times of the year,
Right, yeah,
too,
but
so I don't think they were even in competition.
no, and
No.
and obviously I don't want to say like, oh, Avatar like overshadowed District 9 because again, like when they were shown was probably at different times. So you can't say
Yeah.
that, oh, District 9 could have done it would have been a whole lot more like talked about like Avatar
Yeah.
if it hadn't been released around the same time. But obviously I don't want to make that argument, but like
No, yeah. I just thought it was funny that
yeah,
it was our last choice.
yeah, I
and
know.
we
I
picked
know.
another movie from 2009.
I promise it wasn't not intentional. I didn't
No,
realize it.
I
No.
just thought it was.
until, like,
I just thought it was. I
until
just thought
saw
it was
history.
funny.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So Matthew, first time, what'd you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a pretty crazy movie overall. All the kind of events that kind of fall into place. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It went in places I did not think where it was going to go. Like things happen, and I was like, "What is going on? And why is this happening?" But I mean, it wasn't incomprehensible. I understood what was going on. At least it was kind of unexpected. A lot of stuff that happened. I enjoyed it enough. I knew almost nothing about this movie. The only thing I knew was kind of the central premise that Mark was just describing, and like the details of the guy turning into an alien.
Oh, you knew?
And,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Did you
yeah,
know that he like gets infected or?
yeah, he gets his arm kind of transformed first, and then I knew about sort of the premise with the aliens not being able to like, despite being apparently super technologically advanced, something has happened to them, and they can't function all that well. They seem to lack intelligence or something like that.
Well,
So
it's
it's not really.
Yeah, we don't ever get enough information, and I mean, I think clearly that's the movie's intention.
Yeah.
Like, it's presented as just like this is what's happening. Just deal with it. Like, it doesn't really. I mean, there's enough being said. So, okay, let me back up.
Mhm.
So I did a little bit of reading because this is like my third or maybe fourth time seeing this movie, but
Mhm.
I hadn't seen it in a while. But I had always like you watch the movie and you feel like there's like social commentary there, like
Yeah.
just with like immigration and no more prawns and people are disgusted by prawns and they want to get rid of them and their only use like for corporations is like their weapons.
Test subjects.
Yeah, so they're just like viewed as just like lesser and there's like clearly like an attempt at commentary, but
Mhm.
I don't think it's necessarily like
An attempt.
like well no it is, but
Oh,
I don't think it's executed in a way where it's like trying to say a whole lot.
right.
But I mean, I think it is in some ways because so basically anyway, there have you all heard of like the South African apartheid? I mean, it's
It
something
comes to mind, but
it's
I
something
don't
I've
remember.
only learned about recently over the past few years. So basically,
Mhm.
the South African apartheid was basically the Jim Crow of South Africa. So
Yeah, I have heard
South
about this.
Africa is actually predominantly a white country.
Right.
Like
I
there's
heard about that.
it is because there was a British colony, blah blah
Right.
Yeah.
blah, taken over by the British hundreds of years ago during their empire expansion. But so for the longest time, especially in the 1900s, and it only ended recently, there was a big racial separation, like
That's right.
imposed on by the South African government, saying,
Mm.
black people are inferior, which was insane because they were like they literally like the people, the natives,
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
they were the
there was
majority.
a place called District 6
Oh,
where the British government or the South African government, whatever. I don't like I said, I'm iffy on the details. Just trying to give
Mhm.
a brief little history lesson.
Yeah.
Tried to relocate like 60,000 African people, like
Wow.
indigenous African people, out of wherever. I don't know if it was
Mm.
Johannesburg. I don't think it was, and put them into District 6. And I think Neil Blomkamp is a South African director. He's a white guy, but I mean, so from South Africa. So that's like more is like that's where he's coming from. So clearly, just from me telling you that. Like it's District 6, it's District 9.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's the parallels are in the name.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So there's like intention there, but okay. All that said, they never stick with anything. Like the presentation is like it's just there. You have to like accept it. Like they
Yeah.
talk about we don't really know much at all about the prawns. Everything we know is like we learn from basically this bureaucrat who's our lead character. Like he's
Mhm.
like Vicus is a bureaucrat, which is funny. Like he's supposed to be like the lead character, but he's this. Well, in my opinion, I think he's very unlikable. Like
Yeah,
so
he's
much.
yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
really
through
is
the whole
unlikable.
movie, and that is clearly intentional. Like
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
from the like he's like when he's disconnecting the egg sacs and
Yeah.
like
He's just like, hey,
laughing,
look
he's
at
like,
this.
hey,
Look at
brutal.
this.
I'm committing abortion. Like he
And
says
the-
it. He's like we have to abort the babies. It's
Yeah.
just like what?
Yeah.
And like they're setting fire to it, and they're like,
Yeah,
you're hearing
so
like popping, and he's like, "Do you hear that? It's the
Yeah.
popping, the eggs." And you're just like, "Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!"
and so I mean, for me, I think of parallels between like Nazi Germany and how they treated like the Jewish
Yeah.
people. But
Mhm.
you know, if we're being more historically accurate, this is probably how like white South Africans back in those times viewed, you know,
Oh,
Probably.
for sure.
black
Yeah.
South Africans.
Yeah,
I
no
don't
doubt.
know. It's not something that we can connect to as much just
Mhm.
because we're American and we
Right.
just don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the point I'm making to kind of reel it all back in is that the movie is kind of safe where it's pretty accessible to most people and it doesn't come outright and say like this was bad, like this was
Mhm.
bad, this was good. You know, we know that MNU is like a clearly a bad organization. Like
Yeah, they're evil.
they are the
Yeah.
bad guys in the movie. They're the power hungry corporation. But
Yeah.
outside of that, there isn't really much criticism. And in fact, like pretty much all the black people we see in the movie are portrayed as like evil gangsters. So it's like
Yeah, that's the
so,
only side
yeah.
we see.
so yeah, so there's not like any sort of statement being made at all, I think. And so it's pretty safe. And I think
Yeah.
that's probably helped it be commercially successful in the
Yeah.
same sense that like Avatar was pretty accessible. Like
Yeah.
Avatar has like themes of, you
Mhm.
know, protect the forest, you know, respect life, you know, the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
talked about that. But it plays it pretty safe. This is
Yeah.
not a movie to like challenge your views on the world. It just
Not really. No.
it takes a historical event, I think, and brings it and puts it into this interesting science fiction narrative,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then just like puts you inside it, and you're like, you just have to like accept what's
Yeah.
happening. Like you just have to. This is it. Like
Yeah, that's
so-
kind of that was interesting to me was kind of the way they just like you were saying, they just kind of throw you into it. I mean,
Mhm.
there's not a whole lot of explanation. Like the prawns, there isn't a whole lot known about them.
No, you don't know about
Um,
them. You don't know.
and-
You don't know like how they relate to each other, or like what their
Mm.
backgrounds are, or like
no,
no.
yeah,
who they respect.
there are elements of it. Like they talk about Vicus says there's throwaway lines. You know, we get like the talking heads here and there who will like try to work what because you know it's kind of got that documentary style.
I was
Yeah.
about to buy that later.
But
Yeah.
they kind of like just drop that they kind of just use it when it's convenient and then they just
Mhm.
drop it. So that kind of irritated me. That's
Yeah, I kind
like
of did too.
it starts off with like a clearly strong, this is going to be a found footage film like Cloverfield or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they kind of just like drop it and then they
Mhm.
kind of start like cherry picking. They're like, oh, we could use a news anchor here to kind of explain
Mhm.
something or give us
Yeah.
a little blurb. But
Mhm.
for the most part, they kind of just drop it like 20 to 25 minutes in. Like
Yeah.
once Vicus gets infected and he's rushed back to MNU,
Mhm.
that's pretty much the last of the filming stuff. But
Yeah, because then the rest of the movie just travels him as he transforms.
Yeah,
and,
it's
like,
just
trying
him,
to get
and
into
obviously there's
Syria.
no cameraman on him or anything like that because
No.
like there wouldn't be technically if he's
yeah,
a
I mean there
fugitive.
was, but yeah, exactly. Like yeah. So anyway, but anyway, what I was gonna say is we do learn some stuff about the prawns. Like they are personified. Like there's like this working class of them. Like
Mhm.
they're like I think they compare them to like worker ants where they just don't have any direction.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But clearly, like Christopher Johnson is
Yeah.
like a leader. He is
Right.
like the smarter, higher up one, and he's the intelligent one. He's the
Yeah.
one trying to help his people. So
Right.
Yeah.
there
that's
is
right.
like a hierarchy, I think.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's never
Yeah, because they were
really
talking. Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, they were kind of talking about like they just theorizing. They're just like, we have no clue why they're like this. We
Right.
have no clue what
Yeah.
happened. And they talk about like they might have been missing a command module, is what they
Mhm.
call it.
Yeah.
Like they broke off from the ship. So I was kind of thinking, I'm like, oh, that's like a hive mind thing, kind of like where they're all being communicated with through that.
Yeah, well,
Um,
no, yeah, but that
uh,
command module is what, you know, under Christopher Johnson's house. Like
right. Yeah.
y'all picked that up, right?
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I don't know. I mean, um, yeah, I like this movie. I don't know. I mean the prawns for the most part,
Well,
they
I
look
thought
pretty
they
good.
look. I thought they
Yeah.
looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. They look pretty good.
There were I know I don't want to say that um it all looked like so realistic because there were like a lot of scenes where it was like, oh, that's fake, that doesn't look too good. But
Yeah.
like when there's like just a cameraman like zooming in on a prawn's face, like a still like camera, and the prawn's like looking around and like looks at the camera and like blinks a little bit, and his little like feelers in the front of his face are like moving. That looks like it looks so good, and
Mhm.
and their design like by themselves was amazing as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of like what we talked about in Avatar. Like if we like, they're pretty minimal with the interaction with humans and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
like the Navi in Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
But with like the prawns, I mean, they're there in the world.
I mean, they live
Uh,
among them. They live among people.
yeah, but it like I guess in Bloomcamp actually, it kind of he kind of has that running trend with especially with Elysium and I think more so with Chappie, his other two movies where
Mm-hmm.
he just kind of knows how to shoot
Mm.
that the fakes like the CG scenes
Yeah.
Yeah.
to make it look and he kind of shoots in like that gritty handheld type way where
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots
you
of
can
shaky cam.
yeah you can kind of help
Yeah.
hide the imperfections or whatever. But yeah, no, I thought
Mm-hmm.
they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I
And
felt
there wasn't a scene where like where like a human and a prawn were in the same shot, and there was like a clear like, oh, that doesn't look very good.
yeah
Everything looked like so blended in and so well put together that
Yeah.
there wasn't a single point in the movie where I thought, oh, that looks fake.
dude, he even looked good when he was in the mech suit. Like that
Yeah.
Yeah,
looked pretty
The mech
good.
suit
that
looks
was
pretty good.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that mech
like
suit
it looked
too.
better than the Avatar mech suits, I thought.
Oh, for
Like
Oh,
sure.
for
that
sure,
mech suit, the part with the
absolutely.
mech suit was pretty cool. I like that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy overall about the action for me
Mm.
Oh,
because
really?
Okay.
especially well, I liked seeing the alien guns like make people explode, but outside
Yes.
of that, like to me, I thought like the gunfights and stuff were pretty unengaging and
Yeah,
boring.
I
Like
can actually kind of see that.
like for me, the last I'd say like maybe the last 25 to 30 minutes kind of had me bored and I was just kind
Mm,
of like, come on, let's go. So,
hmm
but I don't know. I mean, yeah, overall I think the effects were pretty good.
The
Yeah.
only
If I
go ahead,
may
Matthew.
oh yeah. If I may comment on kind of like what you were saying with the last scene and everything else, I can
Yeah.
definitely see that. And I'm
Hmm.
sure rewatching this, that would probably be the case for me as well.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, because I didn't, like I said, I only knew the premise. I didn't know what happened or what the ending was or anything like that. I
Hmm.
only knew the general premise. So at the end, I was pretty invested in what was going
Hmm
on. The
Yeah.
action wasn't spectacular, but I was tense. I was
hmm
like, I didn't know if Christopher was going to get away or not. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't know if that was all going to work out. I was so,
Yeah.
first time experience, it did provide tension, but I can see what you're saying with the action isn't particularly interesting outside of
Yeah.
just like people being blown up by these ridiculous alien weapons, which is great, but
Yeah.
there's not
It
a whole
makes me
lot outside
wonder
of that.
like why when like they first met the humans and started getting put in these horrible conditions, like why they didn't just start using their giant arsenal of alien weaponry against the humans. But it's like, oh well, whatever.
well,
It's one of those things you can't really question.
Yeah,
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 I mean,
exactly.
they kind of get away with it though, with the whole like, oh, this happened 20 years ago, and this is just how it is now.
Mm,
And
Yeah, like they've just kind of been like indoctrinated and just are kind of like
r-
used to that living.
right, and
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
and like, you can uh, kind of convince yourself that, oh, they were nursed back to health that way, and
Hold
we
on a
don't.
second.
Oh,
Sorry, I gotta give the baby a kiss.
oh,
hello.
bye, baby.
Everyone
Um,
says bye, baby.
uh, um, that like we don't know like what the aliens' common lifespan is. And it could be drastic. They could live probably hundreds of years, but
Mhm.
you know that there are offspring in this movie, and we don't know like how many of them have multiple. I think they probably have. I think they mentioned that they have to relocate because they're multiplying, I believe.
Well,
But we
yeah,
don't
they
know
kind
like
of say that, but it's mostly just because they're like sick of.
Humans are sick of them.
So they like say that like they kind of briefly explain that there's just a miscommunication and lack of understanding
right,
between
obviously.
the prawn culture and our culture. So they talk about, you know, something that we would view as really destructive, like blowing up a
Right.
car, is just kind of like recreational
That's
for them.
right.
Like
That's right. You're
that's fun
right.
to them.
Yeah.
But there's this total lack of like trying to understand, and so
Yeah.
basically it's just like get the prawns out, get rid of them. You know, they're clearly viewed as like the second class
Oh, for sure.
of creatures because of their living habitats, and even like the new place, Vicus says it's basically a concentration camp.
Yeah.
He's like,
Right.
you don't want to move there. That's a concentration camp.
It's
Yeah,
even worse in this
I like that
place.
when he finally breaks down his bureaucratic facade.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
he's finally like, you don't want
Just
to.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it's and moving on to like Vicus, and like they casted him like so well. Just this
Mhm.
guy who's clearly like from like you wouldn't know this from first watching it, but like from at the near that midway point, you know that he's putting on an act for the very first half where he does not like want to be there, but he knows that like he has to do it because of like the promotion, all that kind of stuff. And he's like he hates like being around, well, he doesn't hate being around the prawns because he loves like talking about them, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think he really cares much for others except for himself, because like
yeah.
he gets the body armor, and his partner on the car right there is like, hey, don't I get one? And he's like, oh no, you'll be fine.
Yeah, no,
like,
he's
dude.
clearly like a company man who sees this as his opportunity to one
Yeah.
impress his wife's dad,
Dad,
Yeah.
that's
who
right.
got him his father-in-law,
Yeah,
who got him the position, and he just like wants to move up.
that's
Like
true.
this is
Yeah,
his opportunity, and he
yeah.
just sees this event as a step up the rung in the ladder. That's it.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
because he has no respect for the prawns, he sees them as, well, as just
Second
like
class.
lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mhm.
but yeah, no, yeah, he's incredibly selfish. Like he wants to do whatever he can to like
Mhm,
just get fixed, which
Mhm.
mhm.
that's one thing that I was like, okay, why is just we like go 77 hours, I think, and his arm is the only thing that is like transfer. I mean, I guess we see a little bit of like
Yeah.
his eye, but that's
His
His
kind of,
eye, and
eyeball
I
at
think
the
there's
end.
like
Yeah,
stuff on his back, his skin starting to fall off.
yeah, but it's definitely
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like,
and
oh,
its other arm is
his
like
arm, what? And
yeah.
it's like it hit him in the face. Why is his arm transforming first? Like,
Maybe it's
but
like
what? It's fine. It's
it
fine.
works. That's just how it works.
Yeah, no,
Like
I
I'm
know.
not gonna question how the
No,
heck like
no, yeah.
wow,
Like I
what-
said, it just sticks us in, and we just got to go with it.
right.
Look, if we're gonna question that, we might as well also question why on earth the fuel turns these people into prawns. That
Yeah.
doesn't make any
No,
sense either.
I'm cool with that because it's just this crazy alien
Yes.
technology.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
no telling how it could interact with humans.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
no, I mean I get your point. Yeah, like yeah.
But I love just like how like just on edge the entire movie he is. Even when he's like comfortable, like getting like his mic set up at the very beginning of the movie, you could tell he's like a very like tense
Yeah. Well,
like
he's a
like
stooge.
person. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
company
he's so like
stooge.
awkward. He's so awkward too. And the only reason he got the promotion was because he was married to the boss's daughter. Obviously.
Yeah.
You are
There's a
you are so right that Shartle Copley,
Yeah.
I think he is like he's
Oh,
perfectly
he's
cast.
he's
He just does,
amazing.
and I
He's
think
amazing.
this is like the role that kind of like made people go, oh, this guy is like really good.
Yeah, because
Originally, Neil Blomkamp wanted Eminem to be
what?
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
but
That would've been
Eminem was like,
crazy.
okay, I'll do it, but you need to film it in Detroit and make it about Detroit. Which I can
oh
kind of see, like if
Yeah.
Eminem read the script, he'd be like, ooh, you know, this
Yeah.
kind of speaks to
Yeah.
Eminem's from Detroit. So I could like see District 9 being like in Detroit and taking
Yeah.
place there
Sure.
and basically
Yeah.
being the same movie.
Sure.
Mhm.
And connecting more to American audiences. But Bloomkamp was like, no, I want to do it in Johannesburg. You know,
Yeah.
this is my territory, and so
Mhm.
they ended up
That's
using
interesting
That's
backstory.
crazy.
Yeah.
but they ended up using Charlton Copley, and he's Mark. Yeah, you're right. He's probably the best part of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
He's like, for me, I was just sitting there. I was like, I hate this guy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the great thing too, is that he's so unlikable, but like
Yeah.
that's what's like alluring, is like, how could you do this? Like, how could you be so selfish?
Yeah.
But like, I want you to like do better. You know, I always keep thinking like,
Yeah.
I want this guy to do a good deed.
Yeah, and he kind of does, where he like comes back with the mech to save, but even then, it's probably still like
I
selfish.
think it's too little. I think it's too
Yeah,
little too
Well,
late.
but you know what? The great thing is, great thing. He doesn't get what he wants.
No.
no,
It's
no,
kind of
doesn't.
it's a bittersweet ending. It's a good
Yeah.
ending because the prawns actually have a future,
Yeah.
but not for Vicus.
I-
I would I say I would love. The movie should have ended with like an entire like prawn fleet coming
Army.
back to be
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna treat us like this?
Yeah.
We'll show you, or something like that.
Independence
But
Day.
that would have been a little cheesy, but I still would have been. I
Yeah.
would have been satisfied with that because I love the prawns.
I
and
do too. They're great.
I hate watching them suffer. Like,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sucked. It really
all
sucked.
of the humans in this
Yeah.
movie suck.
Oh,
Like there isn't a
absolutely.
single human that I was
no,
rooting
they're all
for.
scumbags.
Even the
They are.
protagonist.
They're all in it for themselves.
They're all scumbags. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Speaking as like an American, like having like the because I don't understand South African culture or anything,
Yeah.
but like the way they have like the gangsters, like they're all just like witch doctors and like
Mhm.
eating the prawn. It's like
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's like, to me it's like,
Well,
is
it's not
that
ra- it's
is
like
that
that-
racist? Is it like, are you like, but
Mm.
but I can't speak to that because I just don't know South African culture.
right. We don't
Like,
know
if
what
I-
it's
if I-
like.
It might be.
Yeah, to me it would be like to me it feels like the equivalent of like stereotyping, African Americans.
Gangsters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be like that, and I would find that offensive. But maybe it was supposed to be like, like Coney or whatever, those kind of warlords or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of how I pictured him, was like
Yeah.
just kind of a warlord came into this, disenfranchised place and was
Yeah, and
basically.
he's handicapped, right? Isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Well,
Yeah.
is he
His
or
head
is he?
explodes.
Well,
Yeah, he
is
gets the thing
actually-
shot and it just blows
Is,
up.
is he actually handicapped? I mean, I know he's in the chair the whole time. It's a wheelchair, but I mean, he may be able to walk this entire time. He just has like his henchmen move him
Maybe.
for him because he's a warlord.
I don't know. I didn't get that, but maybe.
We were talking about last week, to kind of go to Avatar, because we were talking about like essentially the humans and the villains in the movie, because there's kind of
Mhm.
two villain groups. There's the company folk, specifically
Yeah.
the soldiers, I guess the company mercenaries working for them.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Nigerian gangsters who are
Yeah.
in this, because they actually say they're Nigerian,
Mhm.
and they're kind
Yeah,
of
they
in
do.
this, they're
Yeah.
kind of in this place. So those are kind of the two factions, the villain factions, I guess. We were talking about last week with Avatar about, I specifically said I didn't really care at all for the villains in this because they're like
Mhm.
one-dimensional and pointless and kind of stupid. These were also pretty one-dimensional villains, but I like them more just because of how fucking ruthless they were in the
Yeah.
movie.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
they were
Yeah.
evil. They like, especially the stuff we see like the corporation do is pretty nasty. Like
Yeah.
all the stuff in the
Mhm.
testing lab.
Like,
And
yeah,
just, like-
Vicus gets like Vicus gets like locked up and he sees like all the dead prawns,
Yeah.
and he's like he's shooting pigs, which is obviously very uncomfortable with, and then they bring in a freaking prawn.
Yeah.
And then
They
like
just blow it up.
the guy who was like tasing him to like shoot the gun, he tells like his assistant to like do it, and he's like, I want to see this, and so that he can like watch the prawn explode.
Right.
It's like no one has any sort of heart to them, do they?
No. Yeah, they're
Everyone is
animals.
so mean.
Yeah, that was kind of weird to me when they were like trying to make Vicus shoot the gun, and that's
Yeah.
where he was like drawing the line. I was like, dude, you just murdered like
Children,
a bunch
basically.
of prawn babies. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's whatever.
Maybe it's while he's getting that like alien DNA in him, he's starting to feel like a little bit more, because he eventually learns. He
yeah.
eventually learns like
That
like
could
what
be
Chris-
it.
he learns what Christopher is saying. I mean, of course, he's still like a ruthless monster because he tries to leave Christopher behind to die.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
but he is starting to like. I believe that this may not be true, but yeah, I feel like because of the alien like DNA really like taking over his body, he's starting to like feel a whole lot more sympathy for the prawns.
That could be
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, he does eat the tuna, which is hilarious.
Yeah, the cat food.
Cat
Yeah,
food.
the cat
It's
food.
not.
cat
It's not
food.
cat food.
Yeah.
It's not cat food.
Yeah, it's like drugs for them, basically. They
Yeah.
I
can't,
know.
they
It's
can't help it.
that's kind of funny. I like
Yeah.
that. Like,
What
how
I
they-
also loved about Vicus is that he said the F word so many times in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
just
Fucking hell.
Dad was telling me about that because this came out 12 years ago, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And he said that at that time, because it's still like, 2000s, he said, like, I remember at the time being like really surprised how many times they dropped the F bomb in the movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
remember saying
F-bombs.
that, Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Christopher is like the main one who's like saying them too, or not Christopher, Vicus, sorry.
Vicus,
He's
yeah.
like, it's the same. Well, actually, Christopher says the F word too, like in
Yeah,
his
the prawns
language.
cuss as well.
You see the
Yeah.
subtitles for the F word.
Yeah, that's
And he-
great.
yeah, because like, I think because like Vicus gets shot by that soldier, and then Vicus shoots the soldier back and he explodes, and then Christopher goes fuck. He goes, I think we were supposed to kill him, and Vicus goes, he shot at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. That was a good part. Yeah.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot to talk about with this movie, I think, overall. I think it probably helps that most of us don't have too many issues with it. That's usually
Yeah.
Um.
I will say,
yeah. Let's hear some complaints. I don't
yeah,
know.
let's hear some complaints. This movie's pacing and just kind of the way it moves along, because I like the beginning of the movie and the whole premise. I get you just kind of have to accept it. We were talking about that.
Mhm.
But things in this movie and the pacing in general just feels like it's all going super fast at times.
Mhm.
And things just sort of happen and it's like, oh, okay, I guess we're here now. I guess we're there now. I guess we're just doing this now. And it doesn't, and it kind of feels like things were dropped off. Like, because not a whole lot was dropped off. I mean, the central premise is kind of resolved. I found it a little strange that with the and I know he didn't play a huge role, so it's not that big a deal, but like the corporate dad that he was working
Mhm.
for, we never really got that scene where he's like being carried out of the building in handcuffs by a group of FBI agents or something, because like they kind of exposed the
Yeah.
corporation as being corrupt at the end of the movie. So stuff like that where it's like that probably could have at least been shown a little bit. But outside of that, the movie, like there's all this breakneck pacing where it just kind of moves along. Like the moment he gets sick in the hospital where they open up his cast, which is a cool scene.
Yeah.
The way
that was
like
awesome.
the fingers kind of crawl out and he freaks out when he sees it,
They
Yeah.
which
kind
is
of flop
completely
out.
Yeah.
which is completely understandable. As soon as that happens, he's put in a body bag and carried away from the building. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get why that happens. I understand it, but it just
Or-
happens
Or
so
it's like
fast.
he gets to MNU so easily with Christopher, and they just like walk.
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, that
Like-
was kind of bothered
They
me.
just
And-
blow
and
it
they
out.
got
There's a lot of like
they got out so easily,
character
too.
teleporting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The movie, like, but you said, it's like the whole movie's moving pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Where I didn't notice it too much, but I can definitely like I definitely understand that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely kind of felt like it was jumping around a little bit.
Yeah, I looked at the back of the box before I watched it and I was like, oh, it's less than 2 hours long, which is
Yeah,
which
it's a
is
short
kind of,
movie.
yeah, it was
Only like
surprising
an
to
hour
me.
and a half.
Yeah, it's like 110
Uh,
minutes or something.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
so okay, so it's about 2
So it's
hours.
an hour and
Okay.
50 minutes, but still less than 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So
That's surprising. Yeah.
I
Oh, go ahead.
I guess
Will.
yeah, you go first. Go ahead.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I have one that's kind of surface level, but it was kind of like the only action parts that really kind of bothered me was when the people exploded, like way too many times did they show like fake the blood hit the camera. It was I think it was probably way too many times. They could have like cut that down a little bit, but that's nitpicky and not.
It's not
it-
nitpicking.
it's-
That's a valid
it's a technical
criticism.
detail.
Yeah, it obviously didn't take me out of the movie, but I was like, okay, we got like really got you gotta show that again. But one big thing that kind of bothered me was, yes, Matthew, the whole getting in and getting out of MNU with the capsule. But one big thing was the ending and how it was. I mean, they did leave a whole lot of ambiguity there, but I feel like there would have been like such drastic measures taken towards the prawns after their mothership may have left. I mean, they can't. I feel like it's not really like a much of a happy ending, despite like Christopher and Vicus kind of getting what they want, because Vicus is always he's going to come back and get healed. But like in those 3 years, anything could happen to them. They mean yeah, like the warlord leader is like gone, but I mean there's still like tons of American weaponry and alien weaponry that they could come back and try and
Yeah.
take out the aliens, or still try and relocate them and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a bittersweet ending for me. And
Mm.
I feel like there's a whole I feel like there's a whole lot there that is like, I mean, like at the end I was like, I feel happy, but I feel like a lot can go wrong here still with the aliens and the humans in this area in
Yeah.
District 9, because you got to wait 3 years for them to come back and try and fix something, Because like, yeah, the humans are like, yay, go leave us, go by, all that kind of stuff. But like, what about the aliens still there?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It just it does have kind of an abrupt ending, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I noticed that as much, because like for me, I walked away from it kind of wanting more closure.
Yeah,
Like
me
like I said, like the aliens come back or something, like whatever.
too.
But for the most part, like it's just like I walk away from it and I know it's just like this contained story that's
Mhm. Of
Right.
course, yeah.
just,
There's no extended universe or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess so.
Well, they have like ending credits. Remember that? It was like such so and so was.
Right.
It was. I can't, there was only like one like text on screen sort of like closure for someone, and I can't remember who it was.
I think it was his assistant friend who was like put in jail for
Right.
trying to speak
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Because like we see him in the beginning of the movie, and he's like in an orange jumpsuit, like he's been imprisoned, and he's like,
Oh, and everyone's talking about like how Vicus betrayed them, and you're like, that was at the beginning of the movie. You're like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, that was interesting. Kind of how they
Yeah.
I
were
think
foreshadowing.
like the whole, yeah,
It's
yeah.
foreshadowing. Yeah.
And then like the
Yeah.
betrayal, I guess, is him having sex with a prawn, supposedly. Like,
Which was weird to me.
That was
Yeah.
so
Like,
funny.
that's
It was-
how they frame
it
it.
was presented in such like a tabloid, like
Yeah.
tabloid-esque way. It's like, who would buy this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
I was like, who could possibly believe?
Like what? Like, and nobody was like, wait a minute. Like
In 20
everyone
years,
was
no one's trying to
everyone's
have
just like,
sex
oh,
with
he's a
these
prawn
things.
fucker. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Well,
I
they
don't
even
know.
say near like in the when they're talking about all the gang stuff that's going on in the city, they say there's interspecies prostitution. So
Yeah.
it's like, but that's probably not legal.
Well,
I'm
yeah, but
guessing.
yeah, and it's like taboo or whatever. And
Yeah.
they're like,
So I get it's still weird to me.
yeah,
I thought that was kind of weird. Yeah.
they're clearly like putting Vicus on blast for a reason. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I kind of voiced some of my grievances earlier. Just
Mhm.
I think it's weird they kind of just dropped the documentary thing. That's
Mhm.
Mm,
tonally, it just feels kind of inconsistent, because like when I
Really?
first started because like when I first started watching it, I feel like it's presented as like the super kind of like serious tone, like
Mhm.
like this is like an event that's happening and it's like a pretty big deal.
Mhm.
And like the first 20 minutes are like, I think, pretty strong, but
Mhm.
man, like once, and maybe it's kind of the pacing and the jumping around, but like once Vicus gets like sprayed and starts to transform and he runs away, it just seems like he just kind of like falls into like he falls into like the plot, like
yeah, he stumbles into it.
he just
Mm.
finds Christopher. Like, how the hell did he like
Yeah.
know exactly where Christopher was?
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
think he was looking for him. I think, well, I mean,
no,
it's
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
he
it's just a
okay.
massive
he
coincidence.
just stumbles into the plot, and he just
Yeah.
stumbles and stumbles and stumbles. He somehow gets into MNU. He somehow, you know, blah 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 blah. So that's kind of where I'm just like, oh, okay, I get, like I said, like you just kind of gotta accept it. 'Cause it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like a good excuse. Like I still feel like it could be a little bit tighter, but
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, I still overall, I pretty much enjoyed the experience. I'd say like
Mhm.
it's definitely a movie I enjoy rewatching, because I like the gritty feel it has. Like I like
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of grounded like science fiction, like where it's just like on the ground, we are right there with everybody. You know,
Mhm.
it doesn't have this epic feel. Like even
No.
like even with the giant, like as looming as like the spaceship is, like we know from the beginning it's like derelict, and it's like So I don't know. I like that feeling that it gets, but I still think that the tone shift from like after like the first 25 minutes is kind of distracting for me.
Sure.
But
I love how they like humanize the. I love how they humanize the prawns a lot, and how and I mean that by like they're not like these. I mean they're interdimensional beings, of course, but they're not like portrayed as like these gods among men sort of creatures. I mean, like
Mhm.
right off the bat, like it's right off the bat. I love how like they're portrayed as unhealthy, very weak, on and starving, and like humans are the ones who have to like kind of help them out. And then there's a whole like conflict between them, and then like even despite how fantastic their weaponry is, I mean it's like not really a whole lot better than human weaponry, because I mean a great picture of that is whenever the ship comes out of the ground and is heading right towards
That's
the
right.
mothership. I mean,
Yeah.
they take one rocket and blast the thing, and it's down just like that. You know, it's not there's not like this
Shield
it's not
generator
yeah
protecting it.
there's not like this fantastic sort of like, oh, how could we beat this kind of thing? No, like
Yeah.
let me get an RPG and blast the thing, and that's it. You
Yeah.
know, like that's just kind of like that's it. And I love like what you said. Well, is it's so that's what makes it like I feel like that's what makes it like so grounded. Is it's not like this
yeah,
epic, you know, not
yeah,
nothing like it's fantastic.
it's a pretty cool take to like
Yeah.
kind of like present the aliens as kind of like weaker from the get-go and like
Mm-hmm.
kind of at the mercy of the humans more or less
Mm-hmm.
for.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. It's like it's kind of challenging in a way for like a viewer. Like it's interesting how I would like to hear how like the pitch went. You know, like how I mean, obviously it's produced by Peter Jackson, so
I was gonna say there's a
at
lot
that
of Peter
time
Jackson in it.
Peter
Like
Jackson was like at the top of his game, so he could get like pretty much anything
mm-hmm.
funded or whatever. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, I like that idea of just like these creatures from outer space. It's like ET, but like on like a mass scale.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So and I mean there are like the realistic grittiness, the elements are there. I just wish that like they would like explore the like I feel like there is a lot of commentary in
Mm-hmm.
there that you could like really
Yeah.
get it,
Dig through.
but that's not the movie's intention. And you
Mm-hmm.
know it may have been Neil's original. All his movies have like, especially Chappie is about a robot cop, and like
Mm.
so there's like a whole bunch of social commentary there too. And I think it has more commentary than like there's more like it has more to say, like I
Yeah.
guess. So which is interesting. But it may have been like a corporate thing where people were just like, hey, you know, this isn't gonna fly with viewers or whatever. So
Avatar is coming out this year. We can't have this.
Yeah.
yeah, or something like that. But no, I mean, good movie. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
definitely
Solid.
watch it again.
Absolutely.
I don't even remember the soundtrack. Was there music?
Oh,
That's
there
a
was
good
music,
point.
and actually, a lot of the music actually sounded pretty good too. I
Okay.
don't know who scored it, but I actually like I actually really love the music too in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't even. Let me look. District 9 composer Clinton Shorter.
Yeah, the name doesn't
Okay,
sound familiar.
he's only known for District 9. I
Oh,
don't know. I don't. Dang, District 9's budget, $30 million.
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Damn.
What was this? What
Uh,
did it make?
210 million.
Nice,
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Definitely a
that's pretty
So
success.
good.
yeah.
30 million. Wow, that's not
Yeah.
much.
Oh wow. So I'm just briefly looking over their Wikipedia since we're kind of running out of things to say.
Mhm.
Nigeria's information minister asked movie theaters and the country to either ban the film or edit out specific references to the country because of the film's negative depiction of the Nigerian characters
Yeah.
as criminals and cannibals. Which is
Oh
Okay,
what
there you go.
that's what I
wow.
was saying. Like letters of complaint. I thought it was going to be like because it makes South Africa look bad, but nope, it's
It's
because of
yeah,
the
it's
portrayal of
Nigeria.
Nigerians, and that's
Yeah.
fair. That I agree. She
Oh,
also said the gang leader Obasanjo is almost identical in spelling and pronunciation to this former president of Nigerian, whose name
Oh,
was also Obasanjo. The
wow.
film was later banned in Nigeria. The Nigerian Film and Video Censor Board was asked to prevent cinemas from showing the film and to confiscate it.
Damn.
Dang.
I actually
Yeah,
did hear
that's
about
hu-
that. I remember that. Yeah, I remember
That's
hearing about
huge.
that.
I did not know that. That is so the Malawian actor. I'm just butchering all this. I sound so white. The actor who played the leader stated that the Nigerians in the cast of District 9 were not perturbed by the portrayal of Nigerians in the film, and that film should not be taken literally. It's a story, it's not like Nigerians do eat aliens. Aliens don't even exist in the first place. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of missing the point of what the complaint is. It's like,
Sure.
okay, but they're
Yeah.
being portrayed as cannibals. Like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's no context. Like, but
Mhm.
anyway, interesting. Okay, well, so there was blowback for that. I'm not surprised. Like, I remember
Neither
Yeah.
am
being,
I,
I
to
remember
be
watching it being
honest.
like, it's a little dated.
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah, I
don't
was
do
wondering
that.
if it was like shown today, how people would react,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. The one is someone a Nigerian American writer commented that the one dimensionality of the Nigerian characters is striking, even though District 9 is meant to be a fable. He suggests two possible explanations of Bloomcamp's narrative choice. First, it's meant to reflect anti-foreigner sentiment within South Africa, which
Mm,
is possible, like
Yeah,
kind of
I
a
could see
commentary,
that.
like this is
yeah.
how they view
Mhm.
but or it just simply represents an oversight. I think it's probably more an oversight. He just thought
Yeah, it's probably
it's
just
like,
not
oh,
something they thought about.
we can have the warlord eat the alien, like no,
Yeah,
and so yeah.
that's probably what it was. But yeah, that's interesting. You're right. It doesn't surprise me that much, though.
Yeah. So anyway, a little bit of blowback there, but
Yeah.
not surprising.
Mhm.
Yeah. The only
All
character I
right.
really didn't like, a whole lot was the main the mercenary dude, the main
They're so
mercenary bad guy.
forgettable. They're so
Yeah.
forget. I thought
Like
those.
like
I just remember
that.
he was bald
I
and mean.
I, I have him bald, mean, buff, have facial hair, like strong cheekbones, and make him
Yeah.
like, and he's at the end he's like, I can't believe I get paid to do this, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like
dude.
it's like he's getting off on it at that point. It's like,
Yeah, it's so he just reminded me so much of like the Colonel from Avatar, and it's just
That's
like
why I
it's
brought
just
Avatar up.
Yeah,
it's
forgettable, just like we
Yeah.
talked
he's just
about.
so bad,
Hmm.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, anybody guys got anything else to say about it?
Uh,
Any other thoughts to share?
no, that's it.
Well, I mean,
I recommend checking out some of Neil's other movies. They're all science fiction films and
Mhm.
similar quality,
mhm,
um, less so critically acclaimed. Like
Mhm.
District 9 is seen as pretty much is considered his best film. He's got two others. He's got Elysium, which is about this like rich people have built this like space station that's like paradise, and
Mm.
like only rich people are allowed there and all the poor people are stuck on earth, and so it's about a guy who's like stuck there, but like the selling point is like there's like mech suits or whatever anyway.
Mhm.
And then the third one, like I said, is Chappie, which I think is like his most poorly reviewed movie, which I like it. I need to rewatch it again. It's been a while, but anyway, but they're both cool. Like if you liked District 9, I would definitely recommend checking out
Yeah,
Elysium. I think
absolutely.
Sigourney Weaver's in Elysium, so
Oh,
That's
nice,
cool.
yeah.
nice.
But anyway, all right. So anything else to say?
No, that's pretty much it.
I mean,
Love the movie.
overall, I'll say the one greatest takeaway I'll say is that I really like the prawns a lot more than I like the nabi.
Yeah, me too.
They're just more
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just because like it feels more grounded.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They yeah, and they're so I feel so much more empathy for the prawn than I do
Yes.
the
Mhm.
Navi. And I mean it's
Yeah, for
probably
sure.
because it's got like that earth setting.
Yeah.
We can almost relate it to real world events. We can like
Yeah.
see the parallels that are there between like, people who have marginalized groups and the prawns themselves, and
Yeah.
how
Now,
like they've got like a giant shanty town and
right. Do you feel that Avatar or District 9 was more I guess apparent with its social commentary message? I'm sorry, which one do you think was like more was more like not hitting you over the head, but like this is what this movie is about.
District 9.
The social commentary in this movie is
yeah, I
this.
think it's a little bit I think District 9 has more to say for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just because it has that Earth setting, and like I talked about with the parallels to District 6 and District 9 and the apartheid regime in South Africa that was only recently abolished. Also, if you want to look into the apartheid, a lot of like Elon Musk's and why Elon Musk and why he's so rich now is like his family benefited from that apartheid regime. It's kind of interesting, like how these billionaires often will make their money.
Oh,
Wow.
But
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
anyway, so
Yeah.
yes, no, I definitely think District 9 more so. Avatar is just like the safe dances with wolves bullshit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it
But-
doesn't even do it that
yeah.
strongly, which is so
I was
funny.
gonna say, I think District 9 was better in
yeah,
its
when
in delivering its message.
when I mentioned Avatar to that we watched Avatar to Dad, he's like, I don't like the message in that movie. It's so annoying. And I was like, I just wanted. I was kind of like, yeah, but like they
Yeah.
don't even really do anything with it.
Yeah.
It's so Hollywood and safe.
Yeah,
Like
it is. It
I
really
think
is.
like I don't think District 9 is challenging. Like I said, I wish they would dive more into
Sure.
those elements. Like I would have liked to see more of that. But it doesn't want to really take a stance. I
Yeah.
mean, the humans are evil, like that's clear, but
Yeah, it's
we don't
obvious.
really get to understand the prawns at all, but that's clearly not the film's intention, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So ratings, Matthew,
Yes.
we start with you.
This is
District
tough
The
for
old
me.
duck.
Yeah, this is tough for me.
Interesting.
Because
Yeah.
it's two choices. It's not that tough. I think I'm gonna go with a 7.5.
Okay.
It's a solid movie overall. I enjoyed a lot of this, especially for my first time viewing. I was really tense a lot of the time. I was really kind of, had a lot of concern for the characters. I think the reason why I'm negating some points is due to the pacing. And Will, like you were saying, there's some awkward tonal shift when you kind of go from the documentary stuff, just going to like his
Yeah, that's
perspective.
the more I think about it, it's kind of a nitpick. It just seems weird that they started with that and then just like completely threw it out.
Yeah. But I think kind of the biggest problem for me is just kind of the breakneck pacing, which I know why it's there. It's not like a huge problem, but it's just something that I kind of picked up on while I was watching it. So 7.5 for me, solid movie overall. So yeah.
Cool. Mark.
Yeah, I love this movie. There's only like a few things about it that I didn't like. But overall I would definitely watch it again and again. So I would probably give it an 8. Yeah, I would give it an 8.
All right. Yeah, and I'm just gonna give it what I rated it on IMDb. I gave it a 7, and
Okay.
I think it's got I mean I could easily rewatch this movie soonish. It's inoffensive. It's short. It's gritty.
Mhm.
And I like the prawns. I like that. I feel like if the prawns were like less are not as well done as they are in the movie, then I probably wouldn't be as interested. Like if the alien race was somehow subpar to that, like not executed properly, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't like it because I don't think the movie offers much outside of that. I don't think I like Vicus. I like to hate Vicus,
Yeah.
but outside of that, there's not a whole lot of character stuff. Um, Again, that's just not the movie's intention. It
Mhm.
almost feels like parts of it kind of feel like a video game to me. I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
Sure.
But no, yeah. Anyway, 7 out of 10. So I probably would rate it lower on a rewatch. I think. I don't know why I think that because I think on a rewatch I'd probably notice more things that I don't like about it.
Mhm.
I was like what you were saying, Matthew. I'm kind of like on that edge where I'm like I do want to watch it again, but I'm also kind
Yeah.
of worried about watching it again because I feel like I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't like that, and I don't like that anymore. And I think the stuff that bothers me that I've voiced here is gonna be more apparent as opposed
Sure.
to just stuff I was picking up as I was watching it. So 7 out of 10 though for now, and I guess I just won't watch it for a while. But anyway, okay, well,
Well, we're all in that 1 point range. We got a 7, a 7.5, and an 8.
yeah, all is right with the world
Yeah.
because Avatar had a 3.5 range,
Yeah.
mainly because I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Well, and Mark gave it a 7.5, which is
Yeah.
totally fine. But
Fine.
anyway, okay, so next week, Mallory is joining us.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna contact her after this, but
Okay. I'm out
the
of it.
movie I have picked is a movie I haven't seen, and it is Brazil by I just had a freaking brain fart. Brazil by the Monty Python director. Why am I Terry Gilliam?
Terry Gilliam, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is his big. This is considered his best film. I've never seen it. It's 1985. It's about a dystopian society, but should be good. I love all of his other stuff that I've seen. I love 12 Monkeys. I love obviously Monty Python and the Holy Grail is one of the funniest movies ever made. But I mean, that's his directing style. I don't know if it has that much effect. He did Time Bandits, which is a good movie.
I was thinking about choosing that at one point, but not not my next time. But I was thinking about that.
And then he also did Fear and Loathing, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So,
all right,
Brazil, 1985. That's our next movie, and I will contact Mallory.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get more people.
Let her know that this is going down. I don't know if she'll be like a regular thing, but she's going to join us this time.
She'll be our guest. This is our regular media guest appearance.
Right. We'll do special guests next week, and then maybe we'll have somebody else on the following week if they want to do it.
Sure. Yeah. I think Dad has talked about wanting to be a part of it.
Yeah, if we do that, we can't do swearing though, I guess. We'll swearing around Dad.
Okay, it'll be Toy Story with Dad.
I meant from us. I meant no swearing from us.
Oh,
not in the movie. What?
No, I know.
Dad can't watch R-rated movies.
Dad, watch District 9, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I was messing. Yeah, I was messing. Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's it, I guess I will. Okay, and we're gonna do next week, so we're not skipping a week this time.
Okay, I'll remember. Yeah,
everyone's cool with that, Mark.
I'll watch it over the weekend.
Yeah, we don't have any.
Watch it over the weekend. Watch it Wednesday, whatever. I don't care, but
I'll watch it while we're talking about it.
There you go. We just talk about it play by play. We should at some point. We need to like go to a movie. We should have like a movie theater night, like go see a movie in theaters, like when me and Matthew saw Spiral. Like I would have loved to have
that would have been so great,
because Spiral was so bad and great at the same time. Maybe we should. Maybe I would see it again.
I would too.
I would see it again.
Too. I would take Mark to see it. It was terrible.
So Mark, maybe you should go see. Maybe we'll figure out a time in the future to go see Spiral.
Yeah, for sure.
Theater. And you can bring Chelsea. You can bring Chelsea. Chelsea's allowed to come if she wants to see a horror movie. But it's not even a horror movie. It's just so bad.
It's a bullshit movie.
But it's so great. And yeah, maybe we'll do that in the future. But hopefully before Spiral gets out of the
theater. Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well, I will see you guys next week.
Next time.
Yeah.
Fare thee well.
Oh, Matthew's.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
See you, gentlemen.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye.